until we reach late game. Where actually, he is going to be falling in power soon. But the Dragon has not been taken here by one team, and KFC Talent is actually looking to start it here. And there is the Agnes Grip connecting here to the Foxen. Is he going to be able to live? The answer is yes. Angelic Splinter is going to be used here in the top lane. NK as well does his best. Almost gets a kill on the top lane. And KFC Talent is going to be able to secure the first dragon that they have here in the game. Perez is securing the Seagull as well. Ember's case being used here in Kai to put some pressure as well.
Yeah, one team is rotating quite effectively across the map here. Wawa keeps on bullying these low HP members of that Talon Esports, and now this tower might actually just fall down. First tower of the game taken out here by one team, and definitely is becoming a good sign from one team. KFC Talon Esports not really making some plays here yet. They're focusing more on just scaling up, getting some gold, and waiting till their power spikes actually happen. But these ganks are gonna keep happening, especially with Wawa dealing a lot of damage. But they have to be very careful because they can actually get punished. Zay is taking a lot of damage. The flicker was used, but Erez still was able to land that last auto attack to get that kill. So it's a nice punish here by Talon Esports. One team starting to make some mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, no luck for you there, Zay. That's not going to be repetitive for you as they're going to be taking the tower here in the bot lane. Ares is going to be hit there as well.
Oh no!
Yet again, but Wawa goes in for the outplay, but the Foxen trades it out. He is going to be in danger. The Angelic Splendor is going to be used here on Moop, and he's going to go for the counter play as well. Lulu might be in danger here, but he is going to be tanky. The passive is going to be felt here. NK is going to be doing his best.
Oh!
But NTSC comes into the rescue as the cavalry arrives. They win that trade with a 2-4-2, and they get a lot of punishments on the side of one team.
Yeah, a while ago, one team had a 1,500 gold lead, but quickly Talent Esports patched that problem. They came back, and here on this replay, we see the response here, the threat of the composition of Talon Esports. The Angelic Splendor helping Moop buy enough time for NTNZ to actually follow up, and he actually went in once again with that knock off, knowing that he has NTNZ on his back to help him out. And now, Talon Esports starting to group up for these objectives. Can we see a retaliation from one team though, as NK actually used his ultimate to escape and deal a little bit of damage. Agnes Grip connecting, but not really onto the best target. Now, with the Angelic Splendor, it's gonna force one team to actually fall back while all that's happening. Moop is just continuously attacking this Holy Dragon. So now, as they take it, they have a chance as well on the Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good work for the Fox, and always having the right timings on his skills. The Angelic Splendor was always on time, and Moop is actually very confident that his teammates are not just gonna fall in any types of clashes. And there is going to be some exchanges here where Moop is going to be dealing damage to NK. Almost reduced to half health. They're going to be starting the Slayer here. But with the health bars of NK and Zay actually not in their favor, it is going to be dangerous here as well. Oof. Another parry here by NTNZ. He doesn't care anymore. The Foxen just blocking some of the snipes here. Malleus being used, not going to hit anyone. There is going to be some passive here being used up by Wawa, and they're going to be starting the Slayer yet again. Most of the advantages are on KFC Talent. They secured this yet without any contest from one team. It is going to be detrimental to their chances as the gold is now onto the power index of KFC Talent. They're going in hard. Ember's Gaze is going to be used to deter that path. The Agnes Grip as well is going to be used. The Foxen is going to be taken out immediately. Does not have the Purify ready for the Agnes Grip. And definitely that is a trade where KFC Talent actually wins it again because it's a support for a Dark Slayer laner.
Yeah, the interesting interaction here by both teams. We're also seeing right now the threat of the lineup here of one team because KFC Talon actually wanted to take the Slayer a while ago, but they're being threatened with the pokes here of one team. So now, as they group up onto the top side once again, they will be able to actually get this steal. Erez, what was that? And then now they just take it for free. One team cannot do anything. It could have been a 3 versus 4 numbers advantage fight for one team, but after that small hiccup, it's gonna be so bad for one team. They're gonna get this kill onto NZ and Z, but that doesn't really matter because now Talon Esports is pushing onto the top side. They have taken down 2 towers almost in an instant, and now increasing their goal lead towards 2,000 after just that small hiccup from one team. They're trying to take mid side, but here comes NK closing the distance. Difoxin, he is relatively tanky, but he is still not immortal. That Ember's Gaze chunking down Wawa's HP to half in an instant. That is huge.
Yeah. I mean, that was a combination of the concussive shots coming here for the Violet as well. And you can already see the suppression. And this is what I'm talking about, the Tulin. He is just going to be effective at the point where he gets the ambush. But if he's not going to be able to close out on anyone, the damage that you can see from the Tulin is going to be negligible. It's not going to be that felt, especially as we enter this. We are almost entering the late game in the 15-minute mark. The Holy Dragon again is going to be started here by KFC Talon. Defoxin is just in the area, spotting out the members of one team. They are going to be in danger. Look at the Emperor's Case. One Emperor's Case, and Kai is almost half of his health. And there is a knock-up yet again. Zed does his best. Agnes Grip as well. Yeah, you're going for the
block.
It is not going to be affecting anyone here. And Lunlun cannot do anything but just watch as the members of one team are actually being shaved off.
Yeah, Talon Esports is starting to scale up pretty well. This is what they intended to do during the early game. That's why we saw them a little bit passive, because they wanted to reach the mid game. And the mid game is already starting, and we're seeing how high of a sustain and durable they are actually, especially because of Difoxin shields and his Angelic Splendor. Now Wawa engages, but not to get a kill. He gets killed instead in an instant. NK actually as well will fall down on the bot side after that quick response by Difoxin with the Angelic Splendor. This is why Talon Esports is scary with this kind of composition. They have a lot of ways to answer across the map. Now, well, Difoxin getting caught out there by the ultimate of Zabe, but not really for long. The Agnes Grip won't do much to Essenial, especially if you don't have the necessary follow-up. That shield is immense, and now, oof, Ember's Gaze. Gazing the HP there of Lunlun. You have to give respect on that damage. And Talon Esports is just muscling out one team right now. That's going to be the dive of Difoxin, and a quick escape there from the Agnes Grip. After getting a tower, I think they're just going to be falling back for the meantime in preparation for this Dark Lord Slayer.
Yeah, this is the classic KFC Talon. They're not committing hard on the kills. They're just looking for opportunities to actually take the towers. And the 1v1 between NK and Moop was already crucial. That Moop lost on the early parts, it's already back in the table. You're seeing Moop actually having the advantages here, and Zeb not being able to lock into anyone with the Agnes Grip is a big part here. Defoxin might be over his head as he is almost at half health, but he's still very, very going in here for the Angelic Splendor. It's not going to be on time. There's going to be Lulun going into the back with the Dragon Spin. He's going to be taken out by Ares. A snipe again. The Foxen might be in danger here. The passing from Wawa is just too much. Empress Gaze finishes off Zay. And that is a counterplay coming in from KFC Talon as they overturn that start of a clash in their favor. And Case could be spotting out NTNZ. Not much that he can do without his teammates. And definitely a 1-for-2 advantage here for KFC Talon.
Yeah, Talon Esports now starting to build up momentum, but one team will still try to engage here with NK nearly getting that kill onto iPod Pro, but unfortunately he will die instead. And because of that scenario, Talon Esports has a free take on this Dark Lord Slayer. NK is still dead for the next 30 seconds, but we're seeing some hesitations here on the side of Talon Esports. They're just wanting to group up first, and they want to give respect to the pokes here of Kai because the snipes are hurting, especially Ares with just one snipe nearly getting the kill onto him. Now they are starting this Slayer 10 seconds before NK actually responds, but they commit onto the dive instead here onto Zay, and Zay will fall down. Wawa tries to get a tray, but NTNZ soaks up a lot. Even that snipe nearly killing him. So now Lunlun has his eyes on the target. He wants to get an execution. Can NTNZ fall back? He gets spotted, and Wawa will attempt to get a kill. iPod Pro trying to help him out. The snipe got hit or got received here by iPod Pro instead. But because Talon Esports are going back to their base, one team wants to draw them out again here to the Dark Lord Slayer. Can it be stolen? Yes, it does! As Moop takes it with the punish, and even if Difoxin dies, that is a worthy trade here by Talon Esports. Twice in a row, Talon Esports stole that Slayer from one team.
Yup, and there is NTNZ spotting them out, but they do get a lot of the objectives as well here. They get 2 towers here in the mid lane as the Slayer spawns in the side of KFC Talon. The Foxen is not yet going to be spawned, but in a 20-second mark, there's a lot of things that could happen. You can just use the Angelic Splendor as the clashes already starts, as long as it is going to be near the dead timers here. Zay is going to be spotted now. Move goes in with Agnes Grip. Is it going to be enough? The answer is no. Dragon's Rat being used here to actually disengage iPod Pro. He's going to be caught out with a Thunderbird, but he is not going to be taken down easily. That was a good attempt coming in from Wawa. And most of the members of one team are now low in health, except for Wawa there. And with the Foxen actually adding to the mix, this might be the best chance that KFC Talon can do to get back into the game yet again, as one team zeroes in the lead of KFC Talon. They are now equal in terms of gold.
Yeah, but I think the gold is starting to be irrelevant right now, since the game is already reaching towards latest parts of it. We're already 19 minutes into the game. Dark Lord Slayer has been there for like a minute and a half already. He just wanted to go to the base here of one team, but now we already talked about win conditions here earlier, even in the previous match, since the Dark Lord Slayer is already chunked down below half health. It is having a lesser chance of reaching the base already, since one team will just be able to easily kill it. And they do buy enough time right now to stall things out. A second chance on the Dark Lord Slayer once again after a few minutes. But if we check out how one team actually patched that problem earlier, they went really aggressive against Talon Esports. Despite losing the objective, they tried to force some team fights here on the top side and the mid as well. They can easily rotate across the map. They have the mobility to do so. But what they need to be very careful with is the follow-up from Talon Esports, especially from Difoxin on his Angelic Splendor. He can easily help out his teammates and provide a lot of defenses. And one team right now is trying to draw them out. They're trying to split them with a push by Lunlun on the bot side, but Talon Esports responding once again. They have to be really careful from that Ember's Gaze that iPod Pro can just easily throw at them, especially because of its damage. And now one team just gonna be eyeing on some pokes here. Big responsibility here for Kai and Wawa. They're the initial burst members here of one team that will enable the follow-up of NK and Lunlun.
And right now, they are just going to actually check each other at this moment. They're not giving it out. Wawa might be caught out here. He's going to be hit with the fire the hole. The slow is there, but the damage is definitely not going to be targeted on him as he hides himself in the brush. There is going to be Zay spotting out the members here by KFC Talon. And as the game progresses, it's actually getting harder for them. Zay is going to be starting it up, and TNT is going to be maybe the casualty. And you see here Wawa use that orb.
Wawa
He is going to be taken there, and that is an exchange. The orb, the cell of that orb is not going to be fast enough for the Blade of Eternity, for the resurrection to pop off. And definitely KFC Talon now has the advantage. Zed Lunlun is in the area just
gonna get
watching
it.
each other. iPod Pro is gonna be using Hyper Skate. He is gonna be taken out here by NK at the moment. But Ares traces it out. Lunlun is gonna be taken out as well. NK is doing his best, but iPod Pro still has that resurrection ready. And definitely they are the ones who are going to have the last laugh as they get the Dark Lord Slayer with a lot of kills onto their pockets.
Yeah, that was a beautiful execution by Talon Esports. There was an attempt by NK on the backside. He had the access already onto iPod Pro, but iPod Pro quickly disengages and even pops out that orb so that he can buy enough time for his allies to actually protect him. He switched onto Ares, but Ares flickers away from the Dark Lord Slayer camp, and that distance already allowed Talon Esports to close this team fight. They're attempting to end this game. Angelic Splendor for the shield. No one is unhealthy here on the side of Talon Esports because of that protection, but they need to be still very careful. They're eyeing on locking onto the core. They will attempt to end this game, and ending the game they will. 2-0 victory now for Talon Esports.
Yeah, look at that victory shot coming in from KFC Talon. They closed the first part of the Best of 7 series with a 2-0. And my, I'm pretty sure one team is feeling the pressure to perform better in game number 3. Because if they lose game number 3,
it's match point already.
Yeah, it's match point. And KFC Talon is not going to be forgiving enough to give them a leeway to get back into the series with 4 consecutive wins. KFC Talon taking the victory here in game number 2 is going to be a big statement. If ever they close it out with a 4-0, we can already see a path for KFC Talon going into the championships.
Talon Esports definitely has had a fantastic performance in this game. And coming back in a heavily deficit series is almost impossible. Even in the AIC 2021, there was no comeback from a 3-0 win. So that's how big of a pressure Talon Esports is building right now. At most, there was actually a 3-1 comeback. And it was from V Gaming and Buriram United Esports on their respective games in the grand finals, and for Buriram on their lower bracket finals against the Hong Kong Attitude. At most, it's that. But no one has ever came back from a 3-0 deficit series. That's how crucial this next game will be here for one team. And they're definitely feeling the pressure right now from KFC Talon. And in this game, we saw how incredible the synergy was built here by Talon Esports. They had a lot of protection. I want to commend Difoxin so much for all those follow-ups and saves that he actually made in this game that allowed KFC Talon to win the team fights, to be confident, engaging, and just be sure that they will have each other's backs, especially in that last team fight. So many members during their fight in the Dark Lord Slayer were quite low, and the NK actually had a beautiful flank on their squishy member, which is iPod Pro, but they managed to disengage. They managed to protect one another, and they won that team fight 3-0. That's how big of a deal team fighting is for Talon Esports.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very good game for KFC Talon. They actually went in for the deficit in the early game. They had moved shut down at 0-2. And usually in those scenarios, you're going to see the opposing team actually having the better looks, the better rotations, the better strategy. Because you already shut down the jungler. You are actually dictating the game. It was a 0-3 at the early onset where one team had the advantage. But KFC Talon was able to overcome that, and in the mid game, you were already feeling the heat coming in from their damage. Not much that we could expect, and it actually went through for one team. The late game wasn't the most favorable part because Wawa cannot just enter. Whenever he tried to enter in the latter part of the game, he was punished for it. If he couldn't burst down the hero in the opening 3 seconds, it was already a done deal. Wawa was going to be taken out. Yes, you have some snipes from Kai connecting a lot to a lot of the members of KFC Talon, but as long as he's not going to be in the ground, actually tussling it out in the mud, rolling down in the mud with the other members of KFC Talon, he's not gonna be able to get a free kill for himself. Because even if the snipes disconnect, you have walls in the front like the Foxen. You also have NTNZ who keeps on firing the Thunderbird and also the snipes as well. And that was a big part there. Them having someone to zone out the members like Wawa, like the Elsu, it was very, very crucial for KFC Talon. They always divided the work here. NK, Wawa, and also London was in the thick of it. And not having Kai as a backup to actually help them kill up those squishy heroes like iPod Pro, like Ares, was a big deal. They didn't have sustainable damage besides the divide and conquer strategy that we saw in the clashes. The grounding moment of KFC Talon. Because of that kind of strategy that they made in the clashes, it made it hard for them to win. Them just taking out Wawa, then taking out NK as well, was already a surefire win. That's why we always see a 3-0 deficit here. Ze not really in the best position. He was not able to connect the Agnes grip on anyone that could actually tilt the favor to them. The only people that he could have caught out in most of those clashes was NTNZ and the Foxen. And that's basically it. He was shut down on that Roxy. If the Roxy cannot connect his Agnes grip on anyone that is going to be affecting the clashes, then that's basically it. The Roxy is going to be rendered useless. That's why I said that they needed someone to lock in. That's why you pair it up with a Laville pick.
And, Laville definitely isn't picked here for one team. And we saw most of the time Zay using the Agnes grip onto Difoxin instead, maybe in an attempt to prevent those assistance that Difoxin can do to his teammates. But if they couldn't get the kill, then this pick is definitely rendered useless, and we have seen it in this game. If they have picked up a different support that has a lot of crowd control, maybe a Lumbar, maybe a Baldum, it would have been a different story. But in this game, things are looking really close and threatening for one team. If they're not gonna be winning the next game, then they will have to do what is really improbable in the AIC, which is coming back on a 3-0 deficit. And MVP is gonna be Eras. he was relatively safe in the early game and he dealt a lot of damage as well in the team fight. In the last clash that we saw on the Dark Lord Slayer team fight, we saw him being able to avoid death from NK in an interesting chase. And overall, Talon Esports, KFC Talon are a really strong team and they're looking to maybe end the series in a dominating 4-0. Let's see though if one team can come back.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw on the graphs as well in the stats that it was one team being able to outpower in terms of damage the composition of KFC Talon. Stats are not always going to be there as long as it's not going to be hitting the right targets. That damage is going to be negligible. But anyway, that concludes the first part of this series. Before we continue into best of 7, a lot of teams progress as we move on to game number 3. We're going to go for a short break. This is the Arena Valor International Championships 2022 finals.
私が行った方が手っ取り早いのに本当バカ。何？私じゃ不満なわけ？私が行けばよかったじゃない。次はあんたの番よ。全部私が片付けるから。ほら、最初から私がそれで怖わんとか思ってるの？ Enemy has been defeated. 最初に
Welcome to our video introducing the ping system in Arena of Valor. Arena of Valor is a fast-paced competitive multiplayer game. Communication and coordination within your team are vital to ensure victory. To help players communicate conveniently while reporting and delivering quick, accurate information on the battlefield, Arena of Valor has a context-sensitive built-in ping system that is easy to use. The ping button prompt is placed on the top right corner of the screen in a match. To use it, long press the ping button and point your finger to the triggerable area to send your team the corresponding ping. In addition, players can click the map button on the top right corner to expand the map and send pings by tapping the corresponding location on the map. Of course, players have the option to block ping sound effects and voiceover from other players to prevent interference during the battle. Battle Alert Pings. When players are on the move, they can send their estimated arrival time to teammates by tapping their location on the map. Players can request support from teammates by dragging the ping button prompt to their own hero. When the player is hidden in the grass, drag the ping button prompt to the grass to instruct teammates to hide themselves and ambush together. When a player is outside of the grass, dragging the ping button prompt towards the grass will notify teammates to be careful of an enemy ambush. Wilderness Status Ping. When Abyssal Dragon, Dark Slayer, or your own buff exists on the map, players can give corresponding attack commands to their teammates by tapping the corresponding monster directly on the map or by dragging the ping button prompt to the relevant monster. If a monster has yet to respawn, dragging the ping button prompt will notify the players of the corresponding monster's respawn time. Personal Status Ping. Players can notify teammates their skills are ready by dragging the ping button prompt onto their hero's skills. Dragging the ping button onto a skill and cooldown will alert teammates of the cooldown timer. When a hero dies, the player can drag the ping.
Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back to the Arena of Valor International Championships 2022. My name is Soren. This is the writing down the first part of the series. It's a 2-0 in favor of KFC Talon. Let's see if one team has what it takes to contest Game 1. Is it going to be another win for KFC Talon and, make a statement for 4-0 sweep here on this series?
It's so far a tight early game, especially by one team. But unfortunately, they aren't really able to keep up with the momentum here of Talon Esports, especially with the controlled aggression rather that Talon Esports make during their games. The game number 1, we saw them trailing off a little bit in terms of goal, but when Talon Esports got the momentum, they could not be stopped. Game number 2, it was actually the same. In terms of economy, we did see one team having a little bit of an upper hand, but when the members of Talon Esports were already able to get their power spikes and get their items and become fully equipped to go into team fights, one team couldn't really find a way to win it for themselves, and the small mistakes actually became a stepping ladder here or a stepping stone for Talon Esports to win the game. If we recall, 2 of the Slayers were actually taken there by Talon Esports. Became one of their ways in controlling the map and opening up the base here of one team. And I think those are the small things but actually are having a big impact into the game that one team has to avoid. They need to find a solid draft that they can fully utilize and also make sure that they don't make those kinds of mistakes anymore, because Talon Esports is a team that heavily punish mistakes. They have been in the competitive scene alongside with one team for so long already, and even in the AIC 2021, both of these teams have been able to perform significantly well, even in the even in the playoffs in the AIC 2021. So right now, if we look at the stats, if we look at how these teams have progressed so far, this particular game number 3 is going to be the most crucial of all, because no team has ever been able to come back from a 3-0 deficit. So one team definitely has to win this.
Yeah, but one of the reminiscent ones, there was one team that actually overcame the odds. It was Buriram United in the finals.
It was a 3-1 though.
Yeah,
Here you had first game, then a 3-0, a 3-1.
The kind of advantage that you have in 3-0, you have something like you can expend everything in the first 4 games, and that says a lot. But one team needs to play it out we're gonna be thinking about how about if we reach game 6, do we have enough firepower in the things that we can invest in? And that actually adds pressure as well. This is a best of 7 series. You will have a reset on the 7th game of the series, but to reach there, you also need to play it as smart as you could. And KFC Talon is actually now hovering onto Elsu, and this has been the characteristic of the KFC Talon. They have a lot of range in most of their picks. at first it was Yue, second it was the Violet and Iggy. Now they're adding Elsu to the mix. Ares on that Elsu is definitely gonna be very, very dangerous. We've seen him land, impossible shots. And definitely with Elsu on his hands, he's still gonna be connecting those shots.
Ooh, we're seeing some pocket picks here though, coming in from one team. We already have seen the Preta during day number 1 of the quarterfinals, but I don't think we have seen Bright just yet being used. Wonder Woman though is relatively new here in the AIC 2022. We have seen it a lot during AIC 2021, and it does provide a lot of safety in a sense. It's an incredible fighter with high durability and a good amount of crowd control with the lasso. And with the Iggy, it is actually a common response by teams. I'm wondering though if one team will pick up the Slims, because yesterday we saw a lot of Slims being used against an Elsu, and it was actually because of a win by Bikertopia Esports against Bacon Time. And now Talon Esports responding with a lot of mobile heroes here, the Ryoma and the Liliana being hovered right now. If they do lock this in, we're already gonna see an aggressive early game here by Talon Esports.
Right now, they're actually answering the also pick again with the Iggy on the one team esports. But I'm pretty curious to see what ADC are they going to be fielding up for one team against that also pick. But we see a lot of mobility as well on KFC Talon. They have some stunts on most of their heroes except for the Elsu. You have the Wailing Blade for the Ryoma, and you have the Blinding Light on the Liliana as well. So they're answering the Elsu pick with a pick that could probably hit it with the Double Trouble. The Double Trouble is definitely going to have the efficiency to hit that Elsu whenever he is going to be on the sniping position. And them adding to the mix the Wonder Woman, who maybe can go for counter plays or maybe start the clashes. It could be a combination that's going to be very, very scary as long as they're going to be able to execute it.
Yeah, I mean, normally we see a Slim matching the Elsu, but why not use a stun that has a global range, right? So Leville definitely fits that in the category. Late game scaling is also okay or good here with the Leville pick. Having a lot of synergy with a Wonder Woman, just like what you said. So one team right now, I think they are trying to remove team fighting based heroes that can actually threaten a lot with their crowd control. Mina would be a really nice ban. Since Senial has been used already, it won't be an option here for Talon Esports. They could use other heroes though, like the Lumbar or the Baldum, if ever they would want to have a lot of safety and crowd control in their lineup, which is kind of possible for a team fighting based composition. Paina is going to be removed here. That can aid a lot of supporting abilities here for one team, given the information that the Wonder Woman can actually be not used as a support. It can be a jungler or maybe a Dark Slayer laner, which is a common thing here for the Wonder Woman in the AIC 2021. I remember us having a bit of a comment on the Wonder Woman having a lot of flexibility as a role, and it is still present in the AIC 2022.
And with the 4 bans now, we've seen one team actually does not want a lot of the crowd controls in AoE capabilities here. We've seen NTNT use the Mina before. The Foxen, not so much. This is the first time that we've seen him as a support, and he has been very, very effective so far. So I feel like he was able to practice a lot of the support heroes and even warriors into that position. So for now, I think one team needs to have a lot more damage on their side, and Yena is definitely a pick that could definitely help them. Because in the Ryoma versus a Yena type of fight, it is always going to be the Yena, because he is going to have a lot of gap closers, a lot of silences as well, and you
Yeah.
can count on the mini CCs that he has whenever he uses that ultimate.
And well, I'm wondering how Talon Esports are gonna answer with this though, because one team is investing quite a lot on these meta picks. Same goes for Talon Esports, but with this last hover though on the Malak, we have seen it yesterday being used by V Gaming, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, V Gaming in their second game against Team Flash in the upper bracket quarterfinals. They made it work actually with a lot of sustain and durability with this particular hero. But Thane might be the better option since it has a lot of execution, especially with his ultimate. And the overall durability, the crowd control is still present. It can disrupt the formation of one team. Let's see though, because one team is having a lot of sustain in a sense, since they do have double fighters here with the Wonder Woman and the Yena, but the Kreknak is gonna add a little bit more of a punch in their damage. So one team is building more in the damage department. They should be able to execute this in a playful manner. They have to spread across the map, try to divide Talon Esports, because it's gonna be difficult for them to charge Talon Esports head on.
Yeah, definitely looking at a composition. 4 damage dealers on KFC Talon, 3 that can go in and probably deal havoc on the back line. And then you have one solid hero that can zone you out with a Thane that can soak a tons of damage. This is a hero that, usually punishes you if you think that you can burst him out in the opening seconds of the clash. For one team, they have the capability, but I'm not pretty sure on the sustainability. Yeah, you can probably have shields on with the bracelets of submissions coming in from that Wonder Woman, but what else do they have in a table? They don't have someone that can solidly take in the damage that you're going to be expecting from the 4 damaged lineup of KFC Talon. One team definitely has a capability in terms of the pickoffs, but in terms of the clashes, I'm pretty curious to see how they're going to be executing it, because I think they're not going to be able to last if they're the ones on the receiving end.
And this is the most crucial game right now in the series. We have stated it so many times already after game number 2, and it is still present. Let's see if one team can come back in this series and put up a score in this match against Talon Esports. Early game is going to be quite crucial, since we most of the time see an aggressive start with a Wonder Woman, especially with the lasso whenever it connects. But against a Thane though, it's gonna be extra difficult due to his high durability and annoyingness overall because of that knockback. A lot of safety is going to be provided here onto Erez. So one team needs to invest quite a lot if ever they do want to shut down the Elsu. But if you check out here on the screen, first blood rate, one team most of the time gets it, as they do have a 90% first blood rate in their games, wherein Talon Esports mostly just farms and manages their lanes so that they can have a better performance in the mid to late game.
Yeah, and we're seeing the suppression here done by Erez. He's gonna go for a snipe, but he is gonna be messing that up, as Kai is gonna be able to speed himself up. He still has 1 bullet on his sniper cartridge though. In the top lane, we're seeing the Sentinel being taken here by one team. Not much that you can expect here right now. They're not going in, they know that they are not in the right position just yet. Lunlin is gonna be recalling back into the base to actually have his health and be ready for the Abyssal Dragon take, as most of the members of one team are going to be rotating here to the bot lane, while in the top lane, it's already started here by Moop and NTNZ. They're going fast on that clear, maybe to actually harass the members on the rotations that's going to happen. But the Abyssal Dragon is going to be left to the devices of one team, as Lunlun's going to be late to the party. He is going to miss out the creep wave here in the top lane.
Ooh, double trouble connects though, and that will give a first blood here for one team. We talked about the Slims versus the Leville. Definitely the Leville is a better choice here. A global stun with that double trouble.
Yep, with the stuns actually connecting with the Wawa in the area, he didn't have enough time to use a disengage to, you know, widen the gap. We all know him using the war boots. He is going to be taking the brunt of the crowd control as is. No reduction with the Gilded Greaves.
High risk, high reward.
NK and Lunlun is going to be here in the top lane. And I do agree that is a high risk, high reward. But it will pay off as, you know, the game progresses, because it is going to be harder to actually push Ares there. Defoxin wasn't in the area to help him. But if he was in the area, definitely Ares would have survived. Double trouble is gonna get a hit, and it's gonna hit the Foxen here. Not much that they're gonna be expecting, because without that, they're not gonna be able to kill Ares if it doesn't hit Ares as the main target of the double trouble.
Yeah, the Foxen was like, what was that? Must be my imagination. A little Skyrim reference there. With the Foxen not really getting much of that damage because he is relatively tanky. It has to be Erez or maybe iPod Pro. Maybe Moop or NTNZ, but the least you would want to target is or hit is the Foxen with a double trouble, because he can just sustain all or most of the damage that one team would want to provide. Lunlun is being targeted here by iPod Pro and NTNZ, but fortunately, he is able to back away, and he will be able to go back to his lane before the waves actually connect. So early game pressure here by Talon Esports is not so much, as they are looking to just scale up and have a better performance in the mid to late game. So one team really needs to play this aggressively in the early game and find ways to shut down Ares even more, because earlier, they were able to do it with the double trouble connecting, but I think they need to send out more people on the bot side. Mid, though, there is a fight happening, and NK is dealing a lot, forcing that orb here by Moop. Can he actually survive? The answer is yes, just for a little time before he gets taken out here by Zay. But NK manages to sweep away his life as he is able to disengage successfully.
Yeah, and you know the surprising part here, you're seeing one team actually take the kills. But the problem here is that it's not translating in terms of the gold difference. It means that, you know, even with the deaths happening here for KFC Talon, it doesn't really amount to much, because at the end of the day, it's about taking a lot of the resources. And NTNZ actually steals that blue.
Yeah, that was it was like, sorry, one half, I guess. Thank you and sorry and thank you at the same time. At least I got the buff. The good thing about it, though, is that it wasn't stolen by the enemy team, but now they're trying to steal the life here of Zay. Can they actually do it, though? Because NK is now here, and Moop will fall down. Difoxin follows up on the graveyard, and Ares is all alone, forced to use the flicker just to dodge that double trouble. And now things are accelerating in favor of one team. This tower is gonna fall down, 25 HP to none.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, if you're a jungler, because I'm
It
a
started
jungle
with a
main.
blue buff steal.
I mean, I'm a jungle main, and I really feel the
disappointment.
I really felt for Wolf right there. I mean, that's kind of tilting whenever someone actually steals the blue buff and it's your teammate. Oh,
He'll be
man.
like, "Don't help me next time." Oh, that was sad. That was sad. It started with a blue ball steal of the ally, and now things are looking south here for Talon Esports as they're being dove here in the top lane, but they're able to escape, fortunately, with their lives still intact. And One Esports are gonna skedaddle for the meantime.
Yeah, right now we're seeing Moop just taking in some of the gold for himself. There is an almost 2k gold lead here for from one team. 1.5 right now, but it could spiral out of control as long as they have the advantages in terms of the damage that they've been dealing. Wawa is gonna be not hit there, but NTNT is gonna be the target of the double trouble. Pinwheel is gonna be used. It locks in, flickers out here for the Ryoma. He is not gonna be an easy target for sure. And Ares secures his kill here with Wawa as the casualty. Ares is gonna be sniping Zay here yet again. NTNT goes in with a lock and another kill. This is the plays that they're looking for, and from the 2k gold lead, it's already down to 1.
Yeah, that one team still is making some mistakes here a little bit, but they are still ahead in this game. They can make some plays across the map. The flicker in here by Kai. Will they get that kill onto Ares? Little to no chance for Difoxen to defend Ares after all those damage that Kai has been dealing onto him. Now, with numbers advantage, one team can just take this Slayer down with no contest, as Talon Esports doesn't have enough firepower to fight them right now. Difoxen is in the vicinity, but he won't do much. Now, one team grouping onto the top. iPad Pro might actually get caught up. Luckily, Difoxen is there for the assistance, as one team definitely is investing quite a lot of their members on the top side, but they can also get the dragon in the bot side river. They will spawn up this Slayer and Doombringer in the top lane to get another tower, and the gold lead is actually being increased here on one team side. Now in 2k going 3,000. There's a fight in the mid. NK falls down. Double trouble not connecting, but NTNZ might actually say goodbye to his allies as he falls down. Difoxen will be next, and suddenly one team with Wawa with a triple kill is just on fire right now, getting all those kills, getting all those towers, and Talon Esports cannot respond accordingly.
Man, oh man. It is KFC Talon in the receiving end, and this is the game 3 that one team was hoping for. They needed this. And if they mess this up, this is gonna be a difficult pill to swallow. But I know one team has the composure here. They are going to be taking a lot of the turrets as well. Difoxen is going to be taking the brunt of the shadow bombs coming from Wawa, with that double trouble coming in from Kai as well. NK is going to go for the drone drop, finishes up the Holy Dragon as fast as it could. 5k already in the books here for one team. And not much that we can expect from KFC Talon until we reach the late game. They need to farm this up. They actually need a lot of resources for every member, not just Moop. And the Lasso of Truth is not gonna connect. That was a close call there. It was a possible steal yet again. And with this, they are trailing.
That would be tilting.
KFC Talon needs a lot more. And definitely me too. I'm gonna be tilting hard if there was another steal there. And iPad Pro just throwing up them skills, trying to put some pressure onto Zay. But right now, I mean Zay and Lulun in the Vision War, but not much can we expect here, since all of the brunt of the damage is going to be expected in the lineup of one team.
Yeah, one team definitely has the momentum right now. What we can say though is that they shouldn't let go of this lead. 4,000, 5,000 gold lead is already high, and still, one team's comeback possibility is still present, and they will attempt to do so. Double Trouble will connect onto Eris, but it doesn't really bother them for the meantime. One team has one goal. They will get the Slayer in exchange for Wawa. That's a big shutdown, though, onto him after his multiple kills earlier onto the members of Talon Esports. And now with the Slayer down, well, it will be able to buy enough time for one team to wait for Wawa. But they need to be very careful, though, of the setups that Talon Esports can actually make, because they're looking for plays. They're looking for ways to come back in this game. They have all the tools that they need to initiate a team fight. So one team right now, what they're doing is trying to divide them across the map so that they would have a better angle in approaching them. And this is a good strat that they're doing. Isolated plays gives more opportunity here for NK, especially with the help of Zay and Lunlun. And they have the follow-up as well with an incredible amount of range here from Wawa's Ember's Gaze. And now they're spawning the Doombringer in the mid. Let's see how Talon Esports would respond to this.
Right now, what KFC Talon needs here is to wait for a mistake to happen from One Team Esports, who has been the dictating the rotations that's happening and the combinations of stunts happening as well for KFC Talon is not doing well for them. Once a double trouble hit, Ember's Gaze come in. You also have the Braces submission with the Lasso of Truth, and that is a serious crowd control, chains of crowd control that's, even with the cleanse is not gonna help you up because the damage is already usually being poured out here from one team.
And one team can definitely set up quite well here against Talon Esports. It's gonna be up to Talon Esports on how they are gonna be approaching this, because so far in this game, well, they're trying to come back up in terms of the economy. A while ago, we were seeing 4,000 to 5,000 gold lead by one team. Now it's down to 3,000 and slowly getting mitigated here by Talon Esports. They're playing this defensively, but also control in a good amount of control. They have to wait for the Dark Lord Slayer here. This is the big ticket for one team. A while ago, it was stolen. So this time, it shouldn't, because if it gets stolen here by Talon Esports, then things will go south or downhill here for one team. And they do have still a good amount of control here. If you check out the gold here of Lunlun and NTNZ, Lunlun is definitely ahead by so much, and they have a lot of control on the top side. Zay is preventing them from having a good access towards this location. Double Trouble will not connect, but there might be an entry here forced out by Moop. Let's see if he can actually get the steal. Difoxin is quite low. They're leaving the Slayer down to 10k HP, but Difoxin will get the steal. Oh, what is this curse that one team is experiencing right now? They just wanted the Dark Lord Slayer, man, but they could not get it for a third time in this particular series. 3 times already it has been denied.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a free Slayer there, but I don't know, man. It's not going hot here for one team. That's definitely for sure. If they were able to secure that, it was already a GG well played. You don't have to think about it. It's already a done game. And now we're actually going to reach the latter parts of the game where everyone is actually building up their items. And it feels bad, man. It just feels bad.
The ultimate of Difoxin got it.
Slayer coming from Difoxin was very, very crucial. He is actually creating a lifeline for KFC Talon. One team needs to play this smarter because Quicknack is a hero that falls off in the late game. And one of the reasons there, he's not going to be able to tank much of the damage anymore. Whenever he commits, he needs to make sure that he's going to be catching out someone. Ares is going to be not hit by the Ember's Gaze, uses the disengage to reposition himself yet again. KFC Talon is now in in an upping stage. They are being confident about the positionings that they have. They know that they can tank some of the damage, and they know that they can pack as well.
Kriknak is basically similar to a Nacroth, but he looks more like a cockroach, you know. And he is as squishy as a cockroach. He can deal a lot of damage, especially to isolated members. But if one team won't be able to land those double troubles, and Talon Esports are just gonna be able to scale up and stall this game out for them, then the chances of one team in winning this third game is just gonna keep getting slimmer and slimmer. Take note that one team already has destroyed 7 turrets of Talon Esports, and Talon Esports hasn't even gotten one. So if we look at the gold, it reflects how good Talon Esports are actually keeping up in the economy department despite not getting any towers. If they are going to be able to get a chance with just one team fight win, they will get everything in their favor. That is how difficult it is right now for one team right now. One mistake, one crucial mistake is going to lead to their demise. And Talon Esports is just patiently waiting for that. They're gonna get their first tower after 18.5 minutes. And we're already seeing the gold difference here down to just 500, maybe 1,000. Let's say it's 1,000. But at this point, it's negligible.
Yeah. And the NZ is going to be caught out here. It's going to be a slow as well. Rock Shield has been popped off. Zay is not in the air. Lasso group is going to be used as well. NK tries his best. He's going to be sniped here. iPod Pro goes in for the unpredictable Fox form. And not much that you are going to be expecting now since Wawa and NK are damaged. They are in danger as Moop is in the area on the top lane, but it was not... he did not move there like a brush, like a stone. Atmosphere being used up here. Zay is gonna be at a sliver of health, and Moop and NK are going in for a duel, but not much as the drone drop is not gonna connect. No slows at all is gonna happen.
This is becoming like a game of chess here for one team and Talon Esports. They're trying to put a check against each other, trying to force out a mistake and see the reaction of their enemy team. NK is split pushing onto the top side, trying to find a way to get an isolated kill. Moop might actually be the target, but NK is recalling. They're eyeing onto a possible steal on this Dark Lord Slayer. It's gonna be tough since Talon Esports has a lot of zone control, and one vision onto the correct knock is gonna be detrimental for them. A lot of pressure being built up right now by Talon Esports after they have finally taken out a second tower into the game. Top lane is going to be next. iPod Pro is leading the pack, while Erez is just continuously staying on stealth mode while he lands or attempts to land those snipes onto the members of one team. So this is a pretty good formation that Talon Esports is making right now on this top side, the river, in attempt to have a good positioning here on this Dark Lord Slayer. This is already 21 minutes into the game. This is a late game. This is going to be a big choice that Talon Esports and one team has to make. Do they commit on the Dark Lord Slayer? Do they force out a team fight? Or do they just answer the waves? Because there's a big wave marching onto the bot side. NK is actually eyeing on maybe helping it out, reach the bot side inhibitor tower of Talon Esports. And right now, with the double trouble not connecting, it might actually force one team to fall back for the meantime, because Talon Esports is slowly closing the distance. NTNC dealt a lot onto NK and Zay, and now after this short interaction, Talon Esports might actually get this Dark Lord Slayer for free. NK has to fall back. He is still far away from the objective. And now with a Slayer taken by Talon Esports, this is gonna look crucial. The control of Talon Esports is incredibly high, and one team has just one chance of winning a team fight here in the mid.
Yeah, I mean, that is a difference on the composition here. They don't have anyone that can soak up damage. They can only take in so much. He is going to have some shields and, you know, super armors as well. But he is not the hero that can actually take in all the damage coming in from four of the members of KFC Talon. That's a Ryoma. You also have Akira, you have a Liliana, and you have an Elsu as well. And in terms of positioning, Ares is actually very, very confident to be near the clashes because he knows he's going to be protected here by Defoxin. So NK needs to play this very, very well. Are they going to be able to, you know, outposition the members of KFC Talon? That is one of the questions here. As NTNZ is going to be taken here, but he is too tanky right now. Spectral R is going to get a hit. And Kai as well is going to be sniped, so he is going to be forced back into their base as a Slayer is actually now walking here onto the mid lane. NK goes back into the fray. He is going to be helping some of his teammates on the defense here. The top lane is going to be left onto the hands of Moop. And if Moop shows himself up, maybe there is a chance for a clash to happen here. NK is going in on. Drone drop might be happening here, but he is going to be committing. Defoxin is going to be tanky, and they are going to be taking the mid lane turret here with Ze actually taking the brunt of the damage of the Fox form as well. Kai is doing his best for the defense. He is going to be dealing some damage here, but it is not going to be that fast. Wawa is going to be sniped yet again, while Moop is making a dream work here in the top lane as they push forward. And TNZ goes in and halves the health of the bottom lane turret. Zed might be in danger. Defoxin goes in with an avalanche shield charge, and TNZ is not going to be hit by the Braces of submission, and more of the seesaw type of clashes are happening here, but one team is now on the receiving end.
Yeah, this is definitely a seesaw battle, like what you said. With the Talon Esports pushing, then pulling back. One team trying to push them and drawing them back for a team fight. But one thing is for sure, Talon Esports has came back from a 4,000 gold deficit and now is ahead by 2,000 and finally breaking the first inhibitor of one team here after 6 minutes of them being able to take their first tower into the game. It took them a lot of time, but they're slowly doing it. And one team is slowly being threatened as well with the game-ending push because with the mid inhibitor down, luckily though, they were able to successfully defend their bot side inhibitor. If that was taken down, then they would lose more grip or chance to take a Dark Lord Slayer because it's just too far to answer a wave. But NTNZ is slowly building a wave though for Talon Esports that Lunlun has to answer. So there might be a 1v1 battle on the bot side. Erez is in the vicinity though, and this might be crucial. Lunlun is in a difficult spot, forced to flicker out. Erez though pops out his ult to close the distance, and this might be it. Double trouble connecting, but not on the best target. Now, a 4 versus 5 as Lunlun is dead for the next 40 seconds, and Talon Esports will attempt to get this Dark Lord Slayer. Will one team attempt to actually engage them on a numbers disadvantage scenario? Because Wawa is still on the bot side. Ares is closing the distance. Oh, he got actually surprised there with an attempt to gap close, but they will get iPod Pro on his second life. 4v5, but one team is trying to resist. That's a lot of damage that Wawa actually dishes out. So they are able to successfully stall out this game. Lunlun is now back online, and Talon Esports has no Dark Lord Slayer.
Yeah, well, I mean, Talon Esports does not have the Dark Lord Slayer, but a lot of the resurrections have been used on that clash. So this could actually affect the outcome here. NTNZ has his resurrection up here. iPad Pro does not have, but he still have a dead sickle of his own, and he can actually buy out an orb as well. And on the side of one team, Kai still has his resurrection, but Zed does not have it. And K as well might be in danger here. He's going to be building up some of the defensive items, so he's not going to have the capability to burst down anyone anymore on KFC Talon, because at this moment of time, it's, the clock's ticking, and the only one with the resurrection is Kai. And I don't know if, he's going to be able to last when he resurrects.
Yeah, the damage is just too much coming in from both teams right now. 27 minutes, 28. This is the longest game in the AIC 2022. And, well, for AIC 2021, we have witnessed longer games. But in this one, it is already a big deal. One team is trying to really hold on for dear life in this series to deny the impossible comeback, because no one has ever came back from a 3-0 deficit series, and this game is the most crucial of them all. Difoxen tanking that double trouble from Kai as they're looking to force them to draw their attention towards this Dark Lord Slayer. The waves are in place, even on the bot side, with a wave slightly in favor here of Talon Esports in the mid. But top side is constantly being cleared out here by Moop. They need to find a pick, and a pick will be crucial here, as Kai took a bullet from Erez that chunked down almost half of his health. If they can keep this up, then they're gonna be they're gonna be able to force out another recall from one team here, especially if they do get it on Kai. That is already big. One team is trying to get information, get some vision over this Dark Lord Slayer camp, but they need to also be able to disengage successfully. That's double trouble though. That's half of Difoxen's health already. So without the front line, they can actually start this Dark Lord Slayer.
Man, they're going to be starting here from one team. They're going in hot. Zed does not have his flicker ready. The Blazes of Submission is going to be used, but they're still going in hot on the Dark Slayer, Lord Slayer. They're not
my God!
Goes in for the steal. Difoxen does his best. He is going to be pushing them back. Kai might be in danger as NTNZ is going to be going into the fray, and Difoxen still has his resurrection ready. He is going to be able to live, but the Ember's Gate is going to be finishing him off. But Moop is in the area.
Done.
He is going to be doing his best, and Kai still has his resurrection ready, but Ares is going to be trying to win that. He is going to be taken back. iPad Pro goes in with a victory run. But is it going to be enough? Is it time enough for them to get back? He is going to do his best. Kai is going to have the brunt of the damage. The Dark Lord Slayer is going to be there. They did not zero in onto Kai, and that's kind of a bummer for them.
This is risky.
They need to get back. Lun might be in a predicament here. Are they going to be able to take iPad Pro? This is the outplay waiting to happen. And the answer is they are not going to be able to finish it just yet.
Oh my. If Erez actually won in that 1v1 against Sky, then this game would have been over. But it's already also impressive that Moop got that steal. One team just can't get this Dark Lord Slayer from themselves. They keep getting denied here by Talon Esports, and it's causing them so much frustration in this game. But again, another fight is breaking out. That's a nice engage here by the Foxer. Zay, though, will be able to back away successfully. And that fight turned into just a 3-for-3 trade. Fortunately, Kai was still alive. If he was dead, then there would be a lesser chance of one team to actually be able to defend their base. But it's not the case. Now, Talon Esports, though, are being quite more aggressive than usual. They're trying to get another inhibitor tower, might be here onto the top side as they're assisting the waves, but it won't be that much effective. They need to be very careful from the double trouble here of Kai. Good disengage though. Good dodge there by Apad Pro, especially with his ultimate, but they won't be able to get any towers. Both of these teams need the Dark Lord Slayer. If they can't get it, then no one can actually push. They can attempt a dive, they can attempt a bait here on the jungle camps of NK, but they already know this. They already know this kind of strategy, and it's an almost impossible feat to actually execute. Talon Esports just keeps on pushing these waves, trying to draw one team out of their base, poking them out, but as they are closer to their fountain though, they'll just be able to reset a lot better and find a better angle actually on engaging. Difoxin though dealt a bit of damage there towards the members of one team, but he experienced a lot of pain as well from all those bursts of one team.
Yeah, but a possible 1v1 here on the bottom lane as well. Moop is not actually committing into that, as he knows that one crucial mistake could actually tilt the favor onto the side of one team. And one mistake from one team as well. As we already have 100,000 gold for each of the teams. This is a long-standing match. We see TNZ actually there. Ares as well being stunned a lot there. And Apple's Fury is going to be used to get for the slow move. Is going to be trying to go for that kill onto Zay. The Resurrection is not going to be procced out as soon there, as Ares' damage is going to be reduced with the Medallion of Troy. And so not much, no commitments just yet. They know they lack the members on the side of one team. It is going to be Wawa missing, but Moop is also going to be missing for your KFC Talon. I just don't know if they have the power to just, get the Slayer as soon as they could. And the Double Trouble's going to get a hit again onto the Fox, and he's just going to be tanking the damage. And TNC goes in for the Wailing Blade. The Avalanche Fury as well. Zay might be in danger. Appa Pro is there to actually go for a commit. The Foxen is going to be taken as he oversteps his bound. Do you think that you are hard enough as a tank?
Oh, with one member down, this might be the chance of one team. They're not going to wait for the Dark Lord Slayer anymore. They want to commit onto this push. They get the inhibitor tower. They're trying to get NTNZ though. They need to check on the backside. iPod Pro might actually be dead, and he will fall down, but not without a trade. Moop is also dead. NTNZ tried to delay the impossible. Ares on a mission impossible here, but as he falls down, so does their towers, and this core is just going to get annihilated. One team, after 35 minutes, they get this victory and hold on to this tournament. No more 3-0 impossible sweep.
Yeah, that was a very, very long game number 3. It showed the will of one team to get back into the game. But if this is the type of games that one team has, I don't know if they're gonna have the capability to win this series, because this is a spectacular win. They had the early game advantage, they had the mid game advantage, and going to the late game, it was their advantage as well. But them actually, trudging through the mud to get this win says a lot about the willpower of one team. But not to say, I don't think that this is a very, very spectacular win. Not a convincing win at all. It's just that the Foxen made the last crucial mistake, and that was basically it. That was the reason why they lost, not because of any spectacular reasons.
But it was still the ticket here of one team denying that third victory in the series here for Talon Esports, and they would have a much more better momentum in this game, because this was a hard-fought, hard-earned victory here by one team. Yep, Dipoxen made a mistake, but he actually was a high impact player in this game as well. They know that he got the steal earlier with his ultimate, getting the Dark Lord Slayer with his Avalanche Fury, and it allowed Talon Esports to get momentum back in this game and allowed them to sustain a bit longer. But after he got taken down, death timers are just too low. In a 4v5 setup, Talon Esports, without a front line, they cannot just resist one team's damage anymore. And despite the attempts, well, it won't. It's just inevitable. Now, one team has a better chance in coming back in this series.
Yeah, definitely. One team has the capability. They take game number 4. Definitely, they are going to be makes it harder still. KFC Talent takes game number 4. It is a fact that it's already a match point. And on the second part, because of the series, you can already feel the jitters. Because it's a very, very close game. A lot of mistakes was actually seen on them. The steals as well. It's just a matter of they won because they were able to beat
unfortunately, it didn't turn out well for them. Now it's a chance for one team.
Game stats 11 to 17. 6 kills on the side of one team in their favor. In terms of objectives, one team has just the Infinite Slayer. They were not able to contest those games with Talon. And the decision to not go for a Slayer in the last one wasn't the decision for them. Because they have a lot of chains, chain of controls that they can use to get the kill off. The damage in terms of being able to damage the previous one. Wawa was high as well. You can see the damage being done by only at 140k, but Wawa 140 out of 100k units per fight. That's how they were attacking the defense. And then were able to crash it so it gets a lot higher. There is as well 260k onto that Elsewhere was going on, bringing the bulk of the damage here for KFC Talon. It's just very, very unfortunate. And the MVP, understandable, it's going to be Kai, the most impactful player for one team, the most solid, and the one that brought an end to every stress that KFC Talon brought to the table. It's just his luck with a 506 KDA, a perfect KDA, even with the 30 plus minutes that he's done. Another finishing, that's very, very great. MVP got his third, and the damage he's been dealing, that's 27.
suffer from any casualty. He didn't die even once. He had an incredible score of 5 kills as well, which actually is hard to do given the threat that Talon Esports actually was making on that game. He had a near-death experience after that last Dark Lord Slayer clash against Erez. He almost got taken down. I think he only had one more hit before he was able to be killed here by Erez. Unfortunately, he was able to survive. That led to them being able to successfully defend their their base from iPad Pro's attempt on pushing. So again, in this game, it was a good job by one team to actually clutch out a win. Talon Esports and one team are definitely exhausted from that game. And, there's still a lot of potential games in this series. We're just down to the third one, moving up to the fourth, a potential game number 7 here in this series. Depending if one team is going to be able to come back in this series successfully. They do have the tools for it. They do have the strength and the skills for it. They just need to harness every bit of energy and intellect that they have in this game to be able to beat Talon Esports. It's not anymore impossible because they clinched out a win, and we're more so looking at Talon Esports right now, especially from their mistake with Difoxin getting caught out there in the last team fight.
Them having the momentum, switching it up for themselves, is gonna, it's gonna give me a lot of expectations on what kind of plays that